It's Ash from SuperVideos, back for another live stream Q&A video. This is going to be Q&A number 144. Again, most of the questions are probably going to be related to The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 14, called Scars, but this is an open Q&A. You can ask pretty much anything. We'll wait a few minutes for people to show up here. Frosty810, what's up? What's up, man? Or woman? It's the first time I'm seeing you on the chat, so I think it's the first time you're on the chat, which is great. Thank you for joining the chat. Let me know if there's any issues with the audio or video. I did start this a little bit earlier just because, you know, I was on the computer anyway. So probably we'll just give people a few minutes to join because it doesn't officially start for another 7-8 minutes. Frost810, I'm a dude, haha. Well, that was my first response, so I'm glad that I got that right. Just gonna check something here real quick. Okay, we should be good. Daily Detonation. Yo, Ash, how's things, man? How's things, man? Really hyped for this episode. Can't wait for the scars to be finally explained. Are you hyped or worried that the episode will not meet your expectations? I'm a little bit of both. I'm very, very excited to see what it is, what the scars are, and how they explain it. But like you said, I'm worried a little bit because I feel like it might not live up to expectations. And much like or for me at least, much like the Beta Daryl fight, which was underwhelming because of how much it was hyped, I feel like this might be a similar thing. And as much as I am excited, there's also a part of me that's worried that, you know, they've built this thing up for a good 6 episodes, right? And I'm worried that it's not going to live up to, you know, the hype and the expectations. So I completely agree with you on, or I see what you're saying on that, and that's where I am. I'm excited, but I'm worried at the same time. Nova Jake75, hey Ash, hey, how are you, Nova? Glad you could join. Frosty810, is it bad that I'm only really excited for episodes with the Whispers? It's not bad, but it just depends. Like sometimes the Whispers are there in the episode and it's just not super boring, but you know, the episode is just, it doesn't have a lot of excitement as it needs to. It hasn't happened yet, but there are also episodes where the Whispers are not there and it's exciting. Very, very exciting. So I kind of see what you're saying, but for me, if it's a good episode, it's a good episode. I don't care if it's got the Whispers in it or it doesn't have the Whispers in it. Voltix33, hi Ash, is it me or live streams are earlier now on Sundays? They're not earlier, but we had the time go forward an hour or go back an hour. Go back an hour. So I always do it at 1 p.m. and it's 1 p.m. now, or 2 minutes to 1 p.m. But they messed up with the times, with the with the daylight timing zones or times or whatever they call it. That's why it probably feels that way. I'm starting at the same time, but they did shift the time a little bit for where I am, or I think the majority of this area on the west. Noah Jink 75. Sometimes that has me fired up. Something that has me fired up is what will happen to Henry. People keep spamming me on social media or about how he is going to die, and all I do is just shake my head because why would Henry die? Yeah, I've seen that a lot going around. I don't see it. I don't see them killing Henry. I just think that it'll be a waste of a character. It would make Carl's death even more questionable, and them giving Carl's death or Carl's material or storyline to Henry even more questionable. I don't see it at all. Voltex 33. Many people say Beta surviving elevator fall was unrealistic. What about you? Yes, it was. Another part that was unrealistic was, why didn't Daryl just finish the job? Why didn't he just throw something at him? You know, I'm sure there was some stuff there. So that was another part of it that was unrealistic. Could they have done something way better for that end? Yes, absolutely. Did I love the ending with them zooming into Beta's face? Absolutely. So it's a matter of just balancing unrealistic stuff with realistic stuff. Like making it feel a little unrealistic just to make it feel cool and interesting. But at the same time, don't make it so unrealistic that it just takes us out of the scene. So they just needed to find the right balance, and I don't think they did that. Negan's Mayo Sandwich. I have a feeling that the Pike lineup is going to be disappointing as well. I'm hoping not. But I mean, we'll see what happens. But I hope they don't do a cliffhanger, first of all, but I hope it's not underwhelming. I don't think they'll do a cliffhanger, because from what they've told us, it seems, or from what's available online, it seems like the Pike itself is going to be revealed at the end of episode 15. And episode 16 is just going to be the aftermath of that in a way. So if that's true, then there's no way it's going to be a cliffhanger. Noah Jake 75. It would be such a horrible decision to kill off Henry. Yes, absolutely. And these people say that Ezekiel will not get his comic death, even though it was confirmed that Ezekiel either dies this season or next season. Yeah, it was definitely confirmed. They didn't say which one it was, but to me, that was a confirmation that he's going to die this season. I just don't see them not giving him that iconic death that he had in the comics and killing him shortly after in season 10. I just don't see that. Noah Jink 75. Q&A, can you name 3 reasons why Henry shouldn't be killed off? Because 3 reasons, okay. He's taking on Carl's comic story. He has a pivotal role. What happened to my camera here? I hate this camera sometimes. Let's see if that's better. Let me just restart my camera here. I'll get back to that question. There we go. So 3. 1 is that he's getting most of Carl's, or a lot of Carl's comic storylines. He has a pivotal role when it comes to this part of the story, being the connection or having the connection with Lydia. The 3rd one is that if you were going to kill him off, why would you have that time, or why would you show him grown up in a way, and flesh out his character? So these are the 3 main reasons. Well, text 33, many people also say that Beta has voice like Batman. He has an intimidating voice for sure, but voice like Batman, I don't see that. Noah Jinx 75. One reason is that Henry should learn from his mistakes with the devastating losses coming. That's another one. Great one. Just like how Daryl learned from his mistake of punching Negan, which made him kill Glenn. Absolutely. Negan's meal sandwich. I hope we see Negan again before 9/16. I hope so too. I think if we see him, it should be in this episode because we're at Alexandria. Noah Jinx 75. Another reason for Henry not to die is that Lydia's character revolves around Carl in the comics, especially with her coming back to civilization and abandoning the Whisperer's lifestyle. Yeah, that's a good one as well. I put that in my list too. Negan's May sandwich. I hope King Ezekiel gets his comic death because it was pretty cool in the comics. Absolutely. Daily Detonation. Now that we are heading towards the end of season 9, currently, what are your thoughts on this season as a whole so far? I think it's been the strongest season for the last 3. Like, season 6 is my favorite season. This season comes very, very, very close to being my favorite, but it's at number 2. So, it's one of the best seasons they've ever done, in my eyes. Strong episodes, consistently strong episodes, and not a lot of bottle episodes, and not a lot of wasted time and a wasted story. So, to me, all of those are making this season a great season, much like season 6. But it's definitely way, way, way better than season 7 and 8. Let's put that in here. Noah Jinx 75. And it would be Henry who brings Lydia back to civilization, and we saw some of that in 9/10. When Henry was showing Lydia around Hilltop and told her about how long this community has been thriving. Yeah, and it's just, for those of you that don't know, it's not just about Henry's connection with Lydia from a love standpoint or a connection from a relationship standpoint. It's much more than that. It's about Lydia bringing Henry back a little bit and not making Henry be as optimistic as he is, and for Henry to find that balance and to grow up a little. But also for Lydia, it's a way to see that there is a future, that there is, optimism out there, and for her not to be so negative. So it's a way for both of those characters to balance each other out, which was the exact same thing they did in the comics with Lydia and Carl. Voltex 33. I think this episode will be filler as it will concentrate on Alexandria and flashbacks, and besides them there will be talking between characters. I wouldn't necessarily say it's filler just because of that. It has a possibility of becoming filler, but just because of those things, I don't think that makes it automatically a filler. Do I think it's going to be a filler? I think it's going to be much like the last episode. It's going to have certain parts that do feel like bottle or filler material. Ronnie Thomas, hey Ash, it's been a long time. How are you, Ronnie? Glad you could join. Noah Jinx 75. The third reason would be that Henry's death would be a very repetitive story for Carl with her losing kids. Or Carol losing kids. It would be a very different story if Carol lost a spouse instead of another kid. That's another great one. Negan's mayo sandwich. I think Michonne will come down to Negan's cell and ask him for help like Rick did in the comics after the Pikes. We could definitely see that. I think it makes the most sense. Ronnie Thomas, do you think Eugene will die since Gabriel takes his role in the comics? No, I think Eugene is pretty safe. When it comes to that group, Eugene, Gabriel, Siddiq, and Rosita is the one that's at most risk for me. Next would be Gabriel. Daily Detonation. Yo, thank God, Ash, you see this season the same way I do. This has honestly been one of the strongest seasons in recent years. Absolutely. I think Angela Kang has showed that she can pretty much make a season with any story, great story. Or a great season. But actually, I don't know if that came across right. She has shown that she can do this season great. But the big question is, can she do this with a storyline that doesn't have as much hype or as much material or things there that could make it great as the Whisperers arc has. The first half definitely does show that to us a little bit because there was no Whisperers and the arc that we had was a small arc, but she still made it pretty great, you know? But I do still think that we need to give it time to see what she does in a less hyped season or a less or a season where the arc is not iconic from the comics. But I do think that she's definitely done a great job in this season, doing what she's done. Giuseppe De Rosa, yo Ash, how are you? Giuseppe, glad you could join. Ronnie Thomas, what or who do you think Daryl should get in couple, Rosita or Connie? Personally, I would prefer Rosita. I'm indifferent. I mean, if Rosita goes with Daryl now, then that makes her a slut, so I hope they don't do that. But yeah, Connie and Daryl, sure, let's do that. Negan's Meal Sandwich, I hope Gabriel gets his comic death, and I hope Eugene gets his comic arc with the radios. Yeah, I hope so as well. Well, actually, I agree with you on the Eugene thing, but Gabriel, I don't think they're going to give him his comic death, because they already did something like that in Season 8 with All Out War. They didn't make that be a big character, and it wasn't Whisperer related, but they did that death in a way. So I don't think they're going to do it again, you know? But Eugene, I agree with you 100%. Noah Jink 75. Also, Henry's presence around Carol would be very interesting with Ezekiel gone. And Carol told Daryl in 9/7 that Henry is a lot like his father Ezekiel. So I see Henry filling that empty void. Another great one. The thing is, Henry and Ezekiel, you can't kill both. So even if they're going to kill Henry, that means they're not going to kill Ezekiel, you know? So from those two, one is definitely going to get it. I'm leaning more towards Ezekiel. Voltex33, Breaking Bad had around 2 million viewers for most of the series. They only jumped in the final season. The Walking Dead has 4 million viewers, so it's safe and will probably go for more seasons. Yeah, I don't think they'll stop. I don't think they will stop for any time soon. They'll continue going. Negan's Meat Sandwich, Eugene should be with Rosita. Depends on how you look at it. Like how they want it, depends on how they want to do the story. Giuseppe De Rosa, this season is way better than weak-ass season 7 and 8. Absolutely. Ronnie Thomas, Abraham versus Beta. Who do you think will win in the fist fight? That's a good one. That's a good one. I think Beta has the upper hand just because he's bigger, but Abraham is smarter. He's more intelligent. He has, you know, he's bigger, obviously. Not bigger than Beta, but he's bigger than Daryl and most other people that we know so far. So he could take him on. He could take Beta on. I think it'll be a close fight, but Beta probably has the upper hand. Voltex33, do you know that there's set tours now available for all communities and iconic locations in the show? Yeah, I do know that. I was gonna actually go to one, but it wasn't worth it because it's like paying $600-700 for flight, and then from there you pay what is it? How much money you have to pay to get there from Atlanta because there's no airport in where they are, the town. So you have to pay all of that to get there and back, the hotel, and pay for the tour, and it's like a 4 or 5 hour tour. I don't think it's worth it. Not unless you're there already. That makes sense that way. Or close enough. Daily Detonation. Just imagine how awesome All Out War would have been in Season 8 if Angela Kang was showrunner during that time. Holy moly. Yeah, it's debatable, but I do think Season 8 would have been a lot better. Noah Jake 75. Season 7 and Season 8 had very messy timelines. Both of those seasons took place like a month after the ending of Season 6, which proves that you shouldn't have a villain overstay their welcome. Yes, absolutely. Or stretch out an arc just because you want to fill out the entire season. Or stretch a story, I mean. Just because you want to make it a full season. Ronnie Thomas, who wants to see Negan and Beta fight? I do. I think most likely every comic fan does. Giuseppe Doroza, which is the driest episode ever? Still, with Beth and Daryl. It's still my least favorite episode. NovaJink75, also killing off Ezekiel instead of Henry would be a much more shocking death. Not only to Carol, Henry, and Jerry, but the entire Kingdom community itself would be emotionally shattered. Absolutely. Voltex33, Tara's and Heath's episode in 706, swear, was voted the worst episode ever in The Walking Dead history. Do you agree? I think still with Daryl and Beth was worse than that. Yeah, Giuseppe Doroza posts a good comment. Remember, everyone, do not post any spoilers here. We are a no spoiler community here. Yeah, just a friendly reminder. Ronnie Thomas, imagine if Rick and Daryl fight Beta together. That would have been cool, but not fair. That would make both of them look weak, Daryl and Rick. It's like, obviously, both of you can take him on, but can you do it by yourself? Can you handle him yourself? So I think it would have made both of them weak in a way. NoahJink75, Ezekiel's death would instill panic with Carol because she would be sole leader of Kingdom and would have to make the hard decisions by herself instead of ruling as king and queen with Ezekiel. That's another great one. Giuseppe Doroza, that Eugene episode at the Sanctuary was completely super dry. That was another dry one, yeah. But we still had Negan. I mean, Negan saved that episode, or most episodes in season 7 and 8 that he was in. Negan's Meal Sandwich. If Rosita dies, it would affect Eugene the most. I feel like it would impact Gabriel, Siddiq, and Eugene the same way. I don't think it would impact one over the other, or more than the other. Daily Death Nation. It's not fair, man. In the UK, we get The Walking Dead on a Monday. I've always wanted episodes on Sundays. Hopefully they make some changes in the future, if they have a chance. Yeah, it does suck a little bit, and you have to avoid spoilers on Sunday. I do feel your pain. Ronnie Thomas, how do you think Enid's death would play out if she dies? I don't think Enid is dying. I think Enid is safe for now. Enid is taking on comic Sophia's role, in a way. So she's probably safe for the time being. NovaJink75, speaking of spoilers, did you know that Spoiling Dead got pissed off at JDM for calling them out when the season 7 premiere was around the corner? They got mad at JDM for telling them not to spoil 707. I did see that interview with JDM. I agree with them. I agree with JDM. You know, as you have a responsibility as a community of Spoiling Dead community, you're the main one, the Spoiling Dead fans. You have a responsibility to, in a way, make sure that the information you provide are not being used for spoiling others who don't want to be spoiled. I know that it's very difficult, but you take that responsibility on when you start something like that, you know? So I agree with JDM on that. Ronnie Thomas, do you think someone will betray the group? Can't talk. Do you think someone will betray the group to give information to the Whisperers? I think it could happen. I've seen some rumors. Not exactly who, but I've seen rumors that this might happen. NoahJink75, Spoiling Dead says if you don't want spoilers, then don't come to our website. But some of their followers go into the Walking Dead channels like this one and spoil everything. And all it takes is one person. Absolutely. From their end, here's one thing. from there, and what could they do to avoid things being taken out? The simplest thing they could do is not only limiting what information can be taken out of that channel by, I don't know, I'm sure there's ways where you can stop people from, or you know how there's the sensitive content on Instagram, or I've seen this before, but there's places where even if it's a video or even if you're trying to screen capture, it doesn't work. It's all black when you do it, you know? You could do something like that. You could enforce something like that on your channel to make sure that it doesn't come out. Obviously, people could still, you know, say what they know and what they remember or write it down, but that's one way. Just making it impossible to easily extract the information out, it'll help a ton. And I think that they're responsible for at least putting that on. But obviously you can't make sure 100% that it's not taken out, the information, the spoilers, because people can just write it down on paper. They could just take pictures with their phone or whatever. But you could do a lot to mitigate it. Giuseppe De Rosa, if Spoiling Dead pulls up to this live stream, they out. Yes, spoilers are not welcomed here. Spoilers do not belong. Noah Jinx 75. Spoiling Dead should be shut down completely because all it takes is one person to spread the word on social media and then it spreads like wildfire. Me personally, I don't see why you need spoilers. I just don't see it, you know? And to me, it's everyone's responsibility working on the show to stop spoilers from spreading. And that's another thing. They're not doing that well. They were doing a terrible job in season 7 and 8, but now it's getting a lot better, but still they need to work harder on blocking as much as they can coming out. Negan's meat sandwich. I hope Eugene and Rosita kiss before she dies, if she even dies or does. I don't think we'll see that, but sure, that'll be interesting. Voltix33. Bye, Ash. Bye. Glad you could join and ask questions. Ronnie Thomas. I don't want Rosita to die. She deserves to live for at least season 11. Yeah, her days are numbered, I feel. Noah Jinx 75. Also, AMC needs to revoke a privilege for some staffers at EW and Insider where they're able to watch episodes. That's how spoilers get out. That's absolutely right. And I was just going to say that. That's one main source where information come out. Ronnie Thomas. How about Tara? I think she should have died a long time ago. Yes, I completely agree with you. But ironically, at this point, I'm indifferent. Like, if they kill her off, I understand at the end of the season. But if they don't, I'm okay with it. Because they've made Tara more interesting and she's doing more. She definitely... Her stay is justified a little bit at this point. Noah Jinx 75. The rule for everyone needs to be that you'll get to watch the episode at the same time as everyone else, as you can't spoil it for everyone else. I absolutely agree with you. But they do have to do that sometimes to, for people to review the episode. Just, I don't know how to say it, but there needs to be some sort of filter so that everyone doesn't just get it. Giuseppe De Rosa, I'm liking Tara now. Yeah, me too. She's becoming a badass leader. She's an okay leader. Let's not go overboard. She's an okay leader. Ronnie Thomas, and do you think Michonne has Lucille hidden somewhere? I think most likely Lucille is hidden somewhere by Michonne. Giuseppe De Rosa, who's the driest character? Driest character? That's a hard one. I would say... That's a very difficult one. I would say Alden. Alden is one. Let's see who else. Enid, a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty much what I can think, or what comes to my mind. Noah Jink 75. Spoiling Dead also gets really pissed at AMC for trying to put a stop for their foolery. Some of them act like AMC owes them something when they don't even work for AMC, like WTF. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the Spoiling Dead fans community. I just don't get them. Giuseppe De Rosa. What if Tara became the main character? Laughed my ass off. That would not be cool. That's uncalled for. Negan's Me a Sandwich. I hope The Walking Dead makes a movie for following the comic 100%. Probably not gonna happen. At least not for now. Giuseppe De Rosa. What if the new spinoff is Tara's The Walking Dead? I would be really pissed off. King Ken 214. Tara is literally the best character and she's become better now. Not the best character. I disagree with that. A lot of people agree with me, but Tara is my all-time favorite Walking Dead character. Tara. I disagree. She's not the greatest character. She's an okay character. Ronnie Thomas. I think Dog will not get past season 10. If Dog dies, we riot. I'm just kidding. But I do think they're going to kill Dog off next season too. Negan's Mayo Sandwich. Who do you think the wettest character is? That's funny. That's funny. Nova Jink 75. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was right in calling out Spoiling Dead by name. Spoiling Dead just needs to go because while most of their base is loyal to not spoiling people, they can't control everyone. Absolutely. And that's where the problem is. Giuseppe Rosa. If they made Tara's The Walking Dead show, I would be like, who came up with this shit? Yes. And I'm sure everyone's going to blame Scott Gimple for that. Giuseppe De Rosa, I would stop breaking things. Well, I wouldn't go as far as breaking things, but I would be super pissed off. Ronnie Thomas, if Carol dies during season 10, may God have mercy for the Whispers, for Daryl would unleash his wrath. Yes. Not just Daryl, but Daryl, Henry, let's see who else. Jerry, if he makes it. Ezekiel, if he makes it. And the entire Kingdom community. And Hilltop community, probably. And Alexandria community. King Ken 214. Well, she's my favorite alive character. My favorite dead character is probably Lori. Just kidding, it was Rick, of course. Yeah, you almost triggered something in me by saying it was Lori. But yeah, favorite character alive at this point for me is Carol. But favorite character not in the show, it's gotta be Rick. But favorite dead character, I would say Glenn. Giuseppe De Rosa, how about Enid's The Walking Dead? Now you're pushing it, man. You're pushing it. Ronnie Thomas, will Maggie come back? There's doubts on that. She said she's going to come back, but she didn't say when. But again, her new show, Whiskey Cavaliers, is kicking ass. It's doing great. So does she want to leave that to come back? I don't know. Noah Jinx 75. I remember back in season 3 when Spoiling Dead didn't exist, but the thrill and shock of Merle being killed by the governor and Andrea also. So unfortunate that Spoiling Dead ever came to life. Completely agree with you. I mean, it was so bad in season 7 episode 1 or after season 6. It was so bad that as a Walking Dead YouTuber, you just couldn't avoid it. You just couldn't. Even the channel that is known not to do spoilers at all, like they hate it, like this channel, but even those channels that don't do any spoilers, they just had to talk about it because it was out there, it was everywhere, you couldn't avoid it. So it was so bad at that time. And generally in season 7, it was so bad that the transcript, not the transcript, what do you call it? The actual screenplay, or whatever you call it, for the episode came out a week in advance. So you could read exactly what happens. Okay, this character says this, This happens, this happens, this happens. It's like, are you kidding me? You know? It was so bad at that time. So I'm glad that at least now it's not as bad as it was. But it's still bad. Negan's mayo sandwich. If anyone or if anybody heard Daryl, Negan would be at the crap. Would beat the crap out of them because he has to get his Daryl back. Yeah, that's a good one. Because obviously because he wants Daryl to listen to Easy Street, right? That's why you're saying this, right? Because Negan just loves to hear or watch Daryl listen to Easy Street. That was a joke, by the way. Giuseppe De Rosa, my teacher said Whiskey Cavalier is ass. I haven't watched it. I'm interested to check it out, but that type of show is just not my cup of tea. You know? An action, comedy, drama is just not my cup of tea. Especially for a TV show. I think it gets repetitive at some point. Like for a movie, yeah, sure. But for a TV show, I think it gets boring or repetitive. I could be wrong because I'm more in the show or comic. Probably more in the comic book. Probably. King Ken 214. I wish T-Dog never died. I mean, underutilized character for sure, but it is what it is. Noah Chick 75. I hope that Oceanside has a lot of cooked fish with them when they show up at the fair in 9:15. People would love to trade their supplies for some filet mignon. LOL. Yeah, that would be super interesting. That would be cool to see. I don't know what happened to Oceanside. Where did it go? They haven't explained it yet. Noah Jinx 75. Lori and Andrea are probably the most hated characters in the TV show. LOL. Probably. Negan's mayo sandwich. What if 9:16 ended with Negan smiling in his cell? No, I don't think they'll do that. I think 9:16 is probably going to end with a sign that Negan is, or Negan knowing about the whispers and the Pike scene, or what happened at the Pike with the Pike scene, and a sign that he's thinking of getting out. But we don't know if he's going to help them or, you know, kill them. I think that's a better way for the season to end. If it's going to end with Negan in any way. We are 39 minutes in. We'll go for another 5 minutes of Q&A, and that'll be the end of the stream. No watching 75. Q&A, what is your favorite quote by Alpha? My favorite quote would be when she said, "You crossed our land, there will be no conflict. You killed our people, there will be no conflict. I'm done talking. Bring me my daughter or there will be conflict." That's my favorite Alpha quote so far. Ronnie Thomas, do you think Beta will die before Alpha or will they do it like the comic? I think they're probably going to follow the comics. I do think they're going to extend their story a little bit and not kill them as quick as they did in the comics, both of them. But I do think they're going to do the same thing in terms of the sequence or which one comes first. King Count 214, I wish they would have kept Lori so she could die and how she died in the comic. I see what you're saying, but I think her death in the comics or in the show was more impactful than the comics. Novacik 75. Mine is to live with the dead means to live in silence. If the mother can't quiet the child, then the dead will. Natural selection. That was another good one. Even more disturbing how she smiles after she says it. Yeah, that's another great one. My favorite Beta line, I have two of them. I have actually just one, but it's right before he gets pushed down. He's like, "Your world already died. Your world is already dead," or something. That was my favorite Beta quote. Noah Jink 75. How do you think Oceanside returns? Will it be 9:15? Will it be happy and joyous? I do think that they'll come back in the fair, and I do think that, yeah, it will be happy and joyous. Giuseppe De Rosa, Oceanside is still alive. Yes, they are. Negan's Mayo Sandwich. I hope we get the Negan Barbie doll crotch line from the comics to Alpha. I don't remember that one. I hope we get a lot of Negan Alpha scenes at some point. Giuseppe De Rosa, will we get Negan versus Beta? I hope so. I hope we do. Nomadic75, if Lori died like how she died in the comics, then we wouldn't have little ass kicker, Judith Grimes. Absolutely. Carlos Lobo, what's up, man? What's up, man? How are you? Glad you could join us. We're almost at the end of the live stream, but glad you could join. Oh, by the way, for those of you that might have missed it, I put my final theory video out for what the scars could be, X-Scars. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. That's the best I could do. That's the best theory I have. It's probably out there, but that's the best theory I have. That's the best theory I have with regards to what the X-Scars could be or how they could explain it. And I bring a lot of fact into the theory, and it's not just random. There's a lot of facts, but it's still out there a little bit. Wait a minute, where am I? King Ken 214. They could have saved Judith from suffocating. What is going on? Okay, there I am. King Ken 214. They could have saved Judith from suffocating. Oh, like they didn't do it the comic way, yeah. Oh, you mean they could have done the same, but yeah, it wouldn't have been as impactful. I feel like it would have been a cop-out if they did that. Giuseppe De Rosa, who's Carlos Lobo? Welcome to the channel. Yeah, he's new, I think. NoahJake75, Q&A, how do you think 9:15 will flow? Will it be all peaceful until the end? I think so, most likely. I think there will be hints that something is not right, but we'll know the full impact at the end. Negan's Mayo Sandwich. I know Negan said the Whisperers looked like Russian nesting dolls in the comics. I hope we get those comic lines. Yeah, I hope we get those as well. King 10214. They should have killed Andre off in the comics. That was so stupid. Or Andrea, you mean? I like that death, Andrea's death. I think it fit. That death. Uh-oh, Carlos Lobo was timed out by Giuseppe for 300 seconds. What did you do, man? I'm sure that Giuseppe De Rosa didn't give you a timeout for no reason. No, I think 75. Think about it. A week and a couple of hours from now, we are going to see the Pikes on the border. So much anxiety. Absolutely. I don't think I'm ready for it. King Ken 214. Dude, why you time him out? I don't know why Giuseppe De Rosa timed him out. He might have said something. I don't know. I'll go back and check at the end afterwards because I missed it. I'll go see what it was all about. Negan's Mayo Sandwich. The comics have become pretty boring after the Whisperer War ended. Yeah, kind of. I kind of agree with that. Noah Jink 75. Hopefully the Whisper War is very epic in the TV show. Something I really liked in the comics was Whisperers firing flaming arrows on Hilltop. I definitely love that. I hope that we see something like that. I hope we see it. I hope they don't skip over that. Giuseppe Rosa, he was being mean to Ash. If it was that, then don't worry about it. If he was like cussing others out or putting spoilers out or being disrespectful in general, then, you know, it's fine. But if he's just being mean, that's fine. You don't need to time them out. King Ken 214, he timed him out for no reason. Yeah, I'll go check it out, but don't worry about it. If it's just someone being mean to me, don't worry about that. King Ken 214, he said your worst nightmare. How's that being rude? Giuseppe Rosa, he called Ash a bitch. Yeah, don't worry about it. If it's just something like that, don't worry about it, guys. You don't need to just block them or time them out. I'll do that if it's necessary. If it's a spoiler, or if they're being, or if they are, what do you call it, being racist or inconsiderate in many ways towards people for no reason like that, or for some reason, then it's fine. But if they're just calling me names, don't worry about that. I'll deal with that if I need to. King Ken 214, she wasn't talking to him. He was talking to you. Nojink 75, another reason for keeping Henry around is for him to get Lydia to fight against their own people and kill them like Lydia did in the comics with Carl. Absolutely, another great one. Giuseppe De Rosa, we can't have that here. Again, if it's just they're cussing me out, don't worry about that. I'll deal with that myself. King Ken 214, okay, whatever. Giuseppe De Rosa, I didn't kick him out though. King Ken 214, I think the comic book is about to end after 200. I think someone said, Robert Kirkman said it's going to be 300 issues. So, yeah, we're getting definitely close, but still 100 issues left, or close to that. Nomaging75, Q&A, do you think the Whisperers have a good military strategy when it comes to attacking other communities? I don't think so. I don't think they have any strategy when it comes to that. They're not really ready for combat like that. Alright, so we're 50 minutes in. Another question, final question, and that'll be the end of the stream. Again, stay tuned for my for my reaction to tonight's episode and my breakdown to the trailer or the promo of the next episode. Final comment or question from Giuseppe De Rosa. Will the original Walking Dead show end on a movie? I don't think so. I think they will continue the show. They'll just bring in more, what do you call it? Platforms, like the movie. They'll introduce more platforms. King Ken 214, but after the comic book storyline is really nothing they could really do. That's debatable. But I kind of agree, kind of. But in a way, they could just take that and introduce brand new stories that are interesting. Novajink75, I think it's cool how the Whisperers in the TV show not only have knives and machetes, but use bows and arrows as well, which is very cool to see. Yes, that's definitely cool to see. Have we seen that though in the TV show? Bows and arrows? I didn't notice that. Novajink75, well, I meant they use the walkers. Yeah, they definitely use the walkers. Alright, that's basically everything for this live stream Q&A. Thank you everyone for joining and asking questions. I will see you guys very, very soon.